Coming up this week, I annoy my wife on the way to work. It's a sport I'm good at. Thankfully, she's very patient with me. I drive a BMW around on a closed track. I get the full beans, and I get to enjoy a business class seat on a 787 headed to Madrid. All right, let's get started. And hello, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. October 24th, Friday, 3:07 p.m. My report time is 4:35 p.m. Somewhat of a record time for me being this early going to the airport because, of course, she's in the car, right? We're going to go pick up her Pimp Wagon Deluxe
Oh my gosh.
from the storage so our 15-year-old can drive it over the weekend. She has a new vehicle. It's normal colored.
It's not normal colored.
It's not a Pimp.
It's a rare color.
It's light blue called Nimbus. She has a 2026.
I don't drive normal colored cars.
2026 Cadillac Lyric Premium Sport all-wheel drive. Well, I have this 2024
Oh my
Chevrolet
goodness,
Equinox
are you serious?
EV. So
Plus a Rivian.
plus Rivian. Anyway, but so we're going to pick up. Yeah, that's 4 cars, right? And we don't want 4 cars at the house one time. So this car goes back next year in August, and then we'll have the Tesla. We'll have back to 3 cars again. The Tesla, her previous car, is paid off. Nothing wrong with it. No reason to sell it. So we're keeping it at least for the next till August, and we'll figure out what we want to do with it. Head to the airport, and this week's trip is the last, in theory, trip of the month. It is a deadhead to Madrid and fly back. I say in theory because next week she might have to go testify in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Always West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach, Florida. So if you could just clean up the crime in West Palm Beach. No, actually don't clean the crime up. No.
Just shift me to another contractor to clean up.
Make it so all the suspects always plead out
I do
90% of the time. That way she doesn't have to travel. That'd be good.
Yeah.
But because, again, family, work-life balance, I have to be home on the ground next week. In theory, we'll find out Monday if the court case is going to go or not. So I might have another trip this month. I might not. If I don't, I'll have about 85 hours for the month. Not hitting my goal, but combined with last month's crazy month, I'm still above my average. I want 91 hours a month. So far, I'm at 107 hours a month through this year, excluding this month. So even if I go down a little bit this month, that's a legal turn.
Okay.
If I go down a little bit this month, I'll still be above 91 hours for the month.
107 is your average
For the year.
for the year.
So my goal is 91 hours. Because at 91 hours, that's equal to Airbus captain pay. So the trip I'm going on was not on my schedule. I picked it up. It is a deadhead to Madrid on a 787, and I fly back on a 777. The 787 crew will be deadheading back with us. I'm guessing they're changing equipment that's going to Madrid. So that's why it's on the schedule. Originally on this date, I kept trying to get this Dublin trip. That was a fly to Dublin and deadhead back. And it kept going in open time, and it's all by seniority. Well, the first time was an open time. Someone senior to me got it, and the next day they dropped it. So then I tried to get it again. And someone senior to me got it, and they dropped it. And then I tried to get it again, and that person got it, and they held on to it. But I also tried to get this, and I got this trip instead. So this trip is worth 19 hours and 50 minutes. Madrid was worth 18 hours and 35 minutes. I'm sorry, Dublin was worth 18 hours and 35 minutes. So this is worth more time. That was Dublin. I've been to Madrid a lot. And that was a fly there and deadhead back. This is a deadhead there and fly back. Only difference is, it's a 9-hour flight to Madrid and a 10.5-hour flight back. So I'm working more on the way back. Poor me. I get it.
You've been to Madrid so many times.
I have been to Madrid so many times.
That's too bad for you.
You can go to Madrid whenever you want to.
Can I?
You can just go.
Oh, can I?
Days off.
Yeah.
You can just go.
Uh-huh. Who's going to do all the kid things?
You can go by yourself. I'll cover the kid things. You just go for a weekend. Let's go for a day.
For a day.
I went for a day before.
Okay, move on.
Anyway, so I'm gonna drop her off. She's equipped the car. Then head to the airport. I'll be crazy early. That's fine. We're so early because she has to get the car and do the kid stuff. Pick up lunch for the oldest, and then I'll pick up the youngest. Pick up lunch for the oldest. Bring the lunch to the oldest, and then go home with the youngest. So
Dinner, really.
and dinner.
After school.
After school dinner. All right. 3:11. Plenty of time to head to the airport. But first, people ask about my wife's job often. I always say she's a scientist. Well, she's a DNA forensic scientist. Has a BS in zoology from Michigan State. Then kept on going. Got a master's degree in forensic DNA and serology. I had to ask her about that one because I wasn't quite sure. This is the only job she ever had since college. Over 24 and a half years. Over half her adult life. Again, she did get Michigan State alumni. She picked me on Match.com, and of course, he truly believes that malt vinegar belongs on fish. And it's the only kind of fish she likes. She's weird, but so am I. But anyways, normally before a overnight flight to Europe, I'll take a nap in the morning or middle of the day. But on this day, I didn't have to because I'm deadheading. So I went to a BMW driving event in Arlington, Texas. They had lots of BMWs, both gas and electric. And I've been to these before. It's fun. I used to have my first actual EV was a BMW i3 way back in 2013. And it's a great brand. It was a great EV for what it was back then. If you see a driving event pop up online, go to it. It's free. They have professional drivers there. They show you how to drive, and you do get to drive the cars. They're next to you, but you get to actually drive the vehicles. The first car I drove was an i4 electric. I like the i4. A little bit low to the ground for me. I looked at the one buying one a couple years ago, actually my Model 3, but I'll keep my higher vehicles. I'm getting a little older. You get to give it the full beans, right? You can launch it, right? You can't go 60 miles an hour because it's a very tight track, but you get to drive as fast as you safely can, and they're giving you tips all around the track. I am not a professional driver by a long shot. I like my Forza on my Xbox, but in real life, I'm not the greatest. But it's a fun event. They used to time you and give you a little trophy. They didn't time us this year. Maybe they had issues with people being too competitive. And I actually asked the guy, how often do you have to take control over the vehicle if people going a little crazy? He says, yeah, at least once an event, some guy, mostly guys, get a little bit too, mm, and they have to say, "Hey, all right, slow down, shut it down," to avoid them having an issue. But it's a very fun morning. This is the X3. It's a gas car, but it was fun. Uh, Again, after this driving event, you're able, if you want to, go on a city tour, like a guided tour in other BMW vehicles. You can sign up for. I didn't wait around for that. I didn't have a lot of time for it, but I did tour this Mini Countryman. I love this interior. It is a great looking car. I wish it wasn't so crazy expensive. And if there were better infrastructure for college campuses, because this would be a great car for my oldest, but we did end up getting her, of course, that Prius because it makes more sense for her to take to college. It was a fun event, but now back to reality. The employee bus at DFW Airport. Again, I am super early getting to the airport, which is fine. Got off the employee bus, had to resituate my bags. Again, I do carry three bags: my suitcase, my quote unquote kit bag, which is mostly full of snacks when I'm a relief pilot, and my little over the shoulder bag that has all my electronics in it, my laptop and my uh, Nintendo Switch and so forth. But get that all situated, head upstairs to go through security and well KCM. On this day, I was approved, but I'm denied about half the time. I only have 4 to 5 trips a month that I use KCM for. I have a very high percentage of being random. It's fine. It is what it is. Now, for a deadhead flight, I am not required to be in uniform. And I prefer not to be in uniform for many reasons. So once I was through KCM, I got more comfortable and in some more normal clothes and headed to the gate to prepare to board the flight. Again, this is a 787 overseas flight. And due to my union contract, we are guaranteed a business class seat. This is an employee perk. Lots of employers give their employees all kinds of perks and benefits. It is what it is. If you have a problem with it, you're free to apply to my airline and get your pilot ratings or just be able to non-rev. But anyways, again, 787-900 headed over to Madrid. And I do notice on 787s it has a lower cabin altitude and they put moisture in the air. My skin isn't as dry. My nose isn't as dry. I feel more refreshed on the 787 than I do on my own 777, but not enough to make me switch equipment. I was able to pick my own seat. I did pick seat 1A right up front. Sat down, got comfortable. You can see I'm in normal clothes. Sorted out my glasses for a more normal pair of glasses and relaxed. It was a great flight. We pushed back and took off and headed toward Madrid. Again, I'm a normal passenger. The flight attendants know who I am. They know I'm deadheading. Then I introduced myself to them. Let them know I'm the relief pilot for the trip back. And I just did my normal flight thing. Relaxed, played Nintendo Switch. I ate. I watched lots of videos on my iPad Mini. and a few mini movies on the in-flight entertainment as well. Now, one thing I do when I sleep on airplanes is I put on my own headphones, then I put on the supplied headphones on top of that to really block out all the noise. Like I have noise canceling headphones for my Android and for my iPhone, but I like all the noise being blocked out, right? Well, that was a problem because I had my AirPods under the headphones. I lifted up the ear cup once to talk to the flight attendant, and my AirPod fell into my seat. And if you listen to the safety announcement, they always tell you if something falls into the seat, do not attempt to retrieve it. Well, I told the flight attendant to, hey, I'm going to try to get this thing out of my seat. So it looked funny. That's what I'm doing. I dug around. I could see it. It was like right under my right rear side, straight down. And they gave me all kind of tongs and stuff to get it out and push it out. I could not get this thing out. My extremely nice, very senior, one of the nicest people I've ever met in this entire world, and I mean that, purser, got down on the floor with the seat extended and got my AirPod out for me. I have never met this woman before in my life, and she spent a good 4 to 5 minutes digging under this seat to get out my AirPod. And I thanked her multiple times. We actually ended up talking a lot on this flight and on the flight back. Very nice lady. Did not have to do that for me. She could easily have said, okay, well, we'll tell the maintenance crew when we get to Madrid. No, she got down on the floor and helped me get my AirPod, and I am very, very thankful for her getting that for me. We ended up landing on runway 18 right, first time for the crew and myself. That was pretty interesting. And because I'm deadheading, I waited for all the passengers to get off, and I got off the airplane with the crew. No reason to get off early because we're all walking together through security. I'm sorry, through customs, and then onto the bus together. Anyway, beautiful glass jet bridge in Madrid, and we parked at the very end of the terminal. And if you know Madrid, this is the farthest part you can be from the exit of the airport. After using elevators, escalators, trains, we eventually got to the bus and head over to the crew hotel. And it's now 10:30 in the morning. I'm mostly awake because again, I got to sleep most of the flight. Got to the hotel room, standard hotel room, a little bit dark, but I like it being dark because it's easier to sleep when I come here tired. But it's a very big room, especially compared to London. But big room, lots of outlets, and the shower's nice. It's a little bit weird, only that it has that half door, which no matter what, I always end up getting water on the ground, and the window's always open. Whatever. Hi. And also in the refrigerator, there's always two glass bottles of water, which I never use because they're glass, and a Fanta, a Coke, and then anything else sparkling water. Nice. All right, debrief time. Yeah, you can't beat deadheading in business class and getting paid for it. Interesting note. So, like, the captain I'm flying back with, of course, is retiring. But then on the 7-8 crew that flew us over, the one of the FOs is retiring in like 4 months. The captain's retiring in like 6 months. The FO on my trip is retiring. I think he said 3 years. So yeah, everybody's in their 60s but me. Again, I'm not that young. I'm 48 years old. So. But I'm not exhausted because I slept most of the way here. I planned on editing a video for Hong Kong. Didn't do it. Slept instead. But it's too early to eat anything. I'm not really hungry. So I'm going to figure out what I want to do today. Been in Madrid a lot. Of course, I'm yawning. While I was on the trip, I put in for an automated trade for my November schedule. And I'm pretty sure I picked up my original trip I dropped. Because I ship trade a lot, right? And I had 4 Londons originally, and I wanted to pick up an Incheon. But if I picked up the Incheon directly, or even traded directly for the Incheon, it could put me over time or have a conflict with the FARs. So I put in for all these drops to make room for the Incheon, which it worked. But then I had just 2 trips next month. I had an Incheon and a London is all I had, I think. So then I added a San Juan turn. The bomb was like 56 hours. And then I put in for a pickup while I was on the flight, and it went through. I purchased my original London. Well, I'm up to 77 hours next month, working 4 trips. 4 trips. I have a London, Incheon, a London, and a San Juan turn. So I originally had 79 hours working 4 Londons. So I'm working 2 fewer days for almost the same amount of time. The max I can fly next month is 92 hours, limited by the company. Correction. The most I can credit next month is 92 hours, limited by the company. I can pick up premium time flying over that, but I can't just do regular straight time over that. Why? Because that's contractual. But all right, I am probably just gonna figure out what I think I'm going to a coffee roaster. If I find a coffee roaster here, I can get some coffee maybe, and explore a bit in Madrid and do some video editing. Really, be a working trip. All right. So out on the streets of Madrid to explore and end up picking a place called Hola Coffee. And one thing I don't like about my Meta glasses is when I record video, it doesn't put them in file name order of the order I'm actually shooting it. So I have no idea how I got there, which is a good thing because you can't figure out where I stay in Madrid. Getting around Madrid is very easy. Google Maps makes it super easy. But I did a nice long walk. It's about 0.8 miles to get from where I started to Hola Coffee, quaint little coffee shop. And of course, when I get there, I habla mal español, lo siento. I speak bad Spanish. I'm sorry. Do the best I can. And I'm looking at the menu. I'm like, oh, I'm not quite sure what any of these fancy drinks are. So I just picked one at random. That's kind of fun, right? When you go somewhere to a new country and you have no idea what you're looking at for a menu for eating, or in this case for drinking, just pick something. I had no allergies, so there's no real risk of it like affecting me very much. But I ordered my drink and I also got a little bag of coffee. It was much more expensive than I thought it would be. I haven't had them yet. They're still on my shelf. I do buy coffee from around the world where I travel, so I have random coffee for breakfast at home. But the drink was very good. I believe it was an orange-based drink. It was cold, not warm. Very fancy. I did want oat milk, but they didn't have it, so I got regular milk, which could be a risk for me, but it was a very good drink. Relaxed, had my beverage, and then headed back on the streets of Madrid. One of the main things I appreciate about Europe versus most of the United States is it's very easy to get around via metro versus having to have a car. And again, Madrid is no exception. The trains, I do notice they have various models of train for the metro. They have some that are bigger, some that are smaller, similar to Europe, but they're all easy to get around and very comfortable. Most of the time I stand because they're never very long rides anyway. But hopped on the metro. I did buy a 10-use metro card last time I was here. Helps, get around. You can't use your phone to tap to ride like you can in London. Anyways, went to my normal spots. Again, I walked around this market here. I've eaten a few times. It's so crowded though. Get a little bit claustrophobic. This fruit looks really good, but I'm like, not really in the mood for fruit right now. But I walked around, appreciated what I saw. Eventually, I did go out to the big square, and I Googled the best calamari sandwich I can get in Madrid, and it happened to be right around the corner. And thankfully, I saw a travel tip where they have two lines there, one for inside, one to go. I'm like, I can get it to go and sit in the square and enjoy my calamari sandwich, which is exactly what I did. I wish I would have gotten some condiments. It was just the calamari and the bread. It was fine, but next time I think I'll ask for some condiments as well. And then I had to work off said sandwich and just went walking. Again, that's what I like to do in cities. Uh, I haven't been to a hotel gym in years. I just can't stand in hotel gyms on a treadmill and just walk. And that's what I normally do for exercise. I just like walking. That's me. So I just randomly started walking around Madrid. And it was easy to walk around. It's a very walkable city. I did come across this indoor shopping area. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. And it looked like I was just there at the wrong time. They had lots of stores that were open and very vibrant. They had lots of young people standing in front of certain particular stores, drinking and eating and having a good time. And then other aisles were just barren and empty, and there was nothing. So I'm sure it's probably normally busy, but on this one day, it was not so busy. But it looked like I should come back here maybe on a weekend day and see how it is then. But once I was done there, I hopped back on the metro, headed back toward the hotel, did my normal grocery shopping. I always carry a grocery bag into my little bag on my shoulder. Basic grocery shopping for the next day and headed to bed. I was done. All right. It is in the 10 o'clock hour locally, the 4 o'clock hour in Dallas, both being AM time change last night. Decent overnight. Didn't do a whole lot. Did a lot of sleeping. I like sleep. Did some shopping yesterday. Bought some lower coffee. Bought some coffee from Hola Coffee as well, the place I got the coffee from, but it's in my suitcase and I'm not taking it out. I bought this chocolate bar for my wife. I don't know why there's numbers on here. I think it's a lottery. Um, I've seen a lot of people buying this all around Spain, and my wife likes lemon, so I bought this for her. It's not chocolate. I want to say it's something like nougat, maybe. I'm betting she won't like it, but it looks nice. It says artisanal. It was expensive. Sorry. And then I bought some candied fruit for my youngest. Nothing for my oldest because I couldn't find anything she would actually want. But I'm gonna head downstairs. Kind of a different trip, right? Because I haven't actually talked to the pilots very much at all. I talked to the flight attendants more than the pilots. So it'll be get to know them on the way over there. Of course, it's the captain's last flight. And the plane came in from New York. I'm glad it came in from New York because there was some pretty good weather yesterday in Dallas that could have delayed. I didn't even check the flight from Dallas. I'll put it on the screen, I'm sure. But it came from New York, so I know the plane's here. It's been here for an hour now. So gonna head downstairs and get this party started. All right. Now, this being the retirement flight for the captain, it's a pretty cool day, right? He had his whole family, or many of his family members, flown over several days in advance. Um, he had his spouse, some of his kids' spouses as well, all in Madrid to celebrate his last flight. And it's pretty cool. So they all got to the airport before we did to make sure they had time to clear security and immigration and get to the gate. When it's your last flight, the airline will give a positive space ticket for your spouse for sure, so they can be in position for you. Now, the captain wanted to come up a few days earlier because he had a deadhead over here anyway, but unfortunately, the union rules and the airline rules said that you have to get on your actual flights for your last sequence in order to have all the privileges as far as getting a business class seat and everything else. So he did come over on our scheduled deadhead. Long trip from the bus to the gate in Madrid. It's over zero point 0.7 miles of actual walking, not counting the whole train ride. I am convinced whoever designed the Madrid airport has a vested interest in making escalators and elevators. There are so many to go through, and these little turns that right here, my bag either fits or doesn't fit, depending on the week. I was here the next week, it didn't fit. But you go through so many escalators and or elevators to go from the curb to the gate. It is just nuts. Now, I have learned a trick. When you leave immigration, you have to, of course, go through duty free, like most international airports. But when you leave duty free, if you go into the gates where we depart from, turn left and go through Burger King, then turn right. If you were to turn right, you have to go a longer walk to get to the gates. So just go through Burger King. It's shorter. In all honesty, I don't mind the walk because I'll be sitting for so many hours anyway. So the walk actually is pretty good for me and does help close my rings. On this particular day, what happened to be the very first flight for Iberia to operate a direct flight from Madrid to Orlando. I happened to snap a photo. And because how creepy Facebook is, I saw this post from the Orlando International Airport about that flight. And then I added my own picture to the post as well. Again, pretty neat. Happened to see the very first flight and then seeing this on social media. Yeah, creepy and neat at the same time. Walked down the beautiful glass jet bridge and onto the airplane where I will be spending the next 10 and a half or so hours. One of the hardest jobs I do, a task I do, is going outside to do my exterior pre-flight when I'm the relief pilot. Getting through those doors is incredibly difficult. But an exterior pre-flight on a 777 is, believe it or not, much like a 172 or any other aircraft. I'm checking static ports, the condition of the tires, the condition of the gear, looking for anything that should not be there, out of place. Now, the planes aren't perfect, right? They've been flying for years. There's all dents and little dings, but they've all been notated. If I see anything that doesn't look quite right, I can tell the captain, they can call the dispatcher, or actually call a maintenance. They have a record log of every single ding and scratch on the airplane. They have, 9 inches from this panel down is a scratch that is 1.6, inches long, that kind of thing. So all around the aircraft, I look at when I look at the gear, there's brake wear indicator pins, two per tire, making sure that I can see the pin sticking out from the brake wear indicator has to be there. Again, this one here is a little bit dirty, like in real life. Planes are very dirty. Looking behind the engine, looking at all the wings. I'm looking at for the static wicks, everything around the airplane. Again, it looks like a big airplane. It is a big airplane, but when I do a pre-flight, it is very similar to other aircraft that you may have flown. When I look at the cargo holds, most time the doors are open and there's people loading cargo and fuel and water everything into the airplane, but I'm looking around those door seals, make sure the door seals look correct, making sure everything on the plane is safe in a safe condition that I would feel comfortable putting my family on board. I don't fly unsafe planes. Pilots do not fly unsafe planes. Have I stopped an aircraft from departing for something I found? Absolutely. Sometimes I look at something, I'm like, that ain't right. Tell the captain, we get maintenance involved. Like, okay, yeah, it looks funny, but they show me in documentation where that ding or dent or whatever is I saw is actually been documented and is safe for departure. So sometimes I'm wrong, not wrong, but sometimes I see things that are I think are an issue that have already been documented. The average length of time it takes me for a 777-200 is about 9.5 minutes. For a 300, about 10 to 10.5 minutes to do a pre-flight. While a little longer because the plane of a 300 is a little bit longer. But once I'm done outside, I go up top side. I make the bunks if they want to use the bunks. Then I'm in the back of the flight deck to help the pilots get off the gate. Now, on a four pilot crew, one relief pilot knows the outside, one relief pilot does the inside, and we swap at the outstation. This is three pilot crew, so I do everything. Once we are off the gate, then I'm in the back of the flight deck helping coordinate paperwork, listening to the radio because sometimes it's hard to understand the accents. But I'm the third pilot on the ground until we get off the ground, and then I go to the back. And leaving Madrid, it's a little bit unique, so to speak. Now, one thing different about Madrid versus like in the United States, getting our clearance, we don't get our clearance until 5 minutes before we're supposed to be off the gate. Versus in the US, we can get our clearance half an hour early. It's a little bit different. They have their own way of doing things in Madrid. It is what it is. It's not that complicated, but it's a different process for us versus in the United States. And additionally, our 777-200 that we operate doesn't have the software to do it via computer, so we have to call over the voice, which can be very congested at certain times of the day. And as you might guess, we do a lot of talking on board before we even leave the gate, including how we get from where we are now to the runway. Well, they have this chart here that kind of gives us a clue. It looks more complicated than it is. I think the taxiways in Madrid are overly complicated, in my opinion. But we're leaving from Terminal 4S, so you can see the R-20, that's our block there. We're leaving from gate 569, and you can see it's Echo Bravo 2 to Echo Bravo 6 to Echo Bravo 7 to November 10 to November 9 to November 6 until November 4 to Bravo November 1 to Zulu 3. In reality, it is Echo Bravo 2 to November to probably Bravo November 1 to Zulu 3. They don't label their taxiways with just November or Zulu on the chart. It's very weird, and I'm sure there's a reason behind it. I think it's very complicated, but you can see on the actual diagram how it looks as far as the taxi that how we went from gate 569 over to runway 36 left. To recreate this with flight sim, you can see the plane is going up Echo Charlie because it was a plane on Echo Bravo when we left. Went up Echo Charlie to November, and then November taxiway goes all the way around and down, and then eventually we get to Bravo November 1 to go over on Zulu 3. You can see that red box there, the HSN6. That means it's a hot spot there where aircraft typically have issues being in the right spot. So they have big warning areas saying, hey, when you come over here, read this note, be very aware of what you're doing and what the instructions are. There's even more hotspots down to the left of this. I've never been over there, but many airports have hotspots. This one is pretty detailed, especially by 1-4 right, to warn pilots to make sure that you understand the taxi instructions and where your aircraft should be. This taxi is actually almost a perfect length so that the flight attendants can do the safety briefing in both English and Spanish. The pilots have time to review the final weight and balance, the final performance numbers, and get everything ready to go to depart runway 36 left. It was a very standard departure. We were pretty heavy, and we had to do a full max blast takeoff, which wasn't very common, but it happened to do with how heavy we were, the terrain, and the temperature, making us do a full power takeoff, which again is pretty rare in a 777-200. But once we are off the ground, I am up front as relief pilot for just the first few minutes. Once we get up and away, far enough off the ground, and everything's kind of stabilized with departure, we're almost climbing up to cruise altitude. I will make the brake schedule, and again, it's just looking at the time that I start the brake until a predetermined time before arrival that the captain determines that they want everyone else up front for arrival, and then I take that amount of time and I make a brake schedule. It's pretty easy. Generally speaking, it's about 2.5 to 3 hours per pilot. So I'll go back to the bunk, or in my case, to the seat, because I like the seat better in the bunk. Take a nap. I can do whatever I want to. Then I'll come back up front, and I'll sit in the captain's seat while they're on break. Then I'll go over to the FO seat while they're on break. And then once they're both done with their breaks, I go back to my jump seat in the back of the flight deck, and we prepare for arrival. This was the captain's last flight as an airline pilot at the airline. We had some firefighters on board from Love Field and other Dallas major airport. They contacted their buddies at DFW Airport and like, hey, they're all ready for you for your water cannon salute. Unfortunately, we had a minor medical issue right before landing, which canceled the water cannon salute. Any kind of medical issue on the airfield cancels all water cannon salutes. So unfortunately, we went into spot 124, parked at the gate, and he was done. That was the end of his airline career. All right, so back from Madrid. It's unfortunate the captain didn't get his salute, but medical emergency, not really emergency, medical priority is more important than the salute. So, is what it is. Very easy trip. You know, I've been to Madrid so many times that I put my sleep and rest over going out. Got a lot of sleep. And again, that helped me. I don't feel exhausted at all right now, even though right now in Madrid it is 11 p.m. or so, I think. 6 hours ahead. Midnight Madrid, right? I'm sure I've already talked about the flight over here. So this, in theory, is my last flight for the month. Did not meet my goal of 91 hours a month to equal what I would get as a Airbus captain on reserve. But my running average till now was 107 a month. So I'm still, even putting this lower month in, I'll still be above my 91 hours, my goal anyway. And I had a crazy month in September. So, and then next month, the company is limiting me to 92 hours of credit, excluding any premium trips, time and a half trips. Those don't count. So we will have to see how that goes. But I'm on my way now to meet my wife back at the storage unit to put one of the cars in there. I'm assuming it's going to be this car, and then the Tesla will be at home for a couple of days. And I will send it over to Darren to wrap it all up. Thank you for support. So Madrid is becoming my second home, so to speak. I've been there quite a few times over the last few months. Don't mind it at all. I wish I spoke better Spanish. Habla mal español, lo siento. But I get by okay. You know, my oldest has been taking Mandarin since the first grade. We live in a very kind of a new way of thinking school district where she was able to pick a language in first grade, and they have Spanish immersion, which is, you know, we're in Texas, makes kind of sense. But they had other languages as well. She picked Mandarin not because she was really interested in learning about the language, but because on the day they had to pick what language, Mandarin and Chinese had the best snacks. And when you're in first grade, snacks are pretty darn important. Again, the trip was good. I'm very fortunate the captain did not get his water cannon salute. This is at least my second retirement flight I've done, and neither one has had a water cannon salute. I've never been in an airplane that's had a water cannon salute yet. But maybe one day I will. I retire in 2042. As far as my compensation goes for the trip, we did go a little bit over block time. Original block time was 19 hours and 55 minutes. We went 20 hours and 7 minutes. I'm paid block or better. My hourly pay was $63.47.95. My per diem, again, is from an hour before departure until we get back from the trip, was $200.45. My international pay was only paid on the return leg because I'm not paid international pay to deadhead on an airplane, was $54.17. And the airline puts an amount equal to 17% of my income into my 401k. That is $1,079.15. My name is Darren. I am a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I am a husband of a scientist. All I ever ask from you all is to click subscribe, drop a comment, click like. Have a great day. And as always, thank you for stopping by.